so that we can get the show on the proverbial road. Hope you're feeling a bit better now. Thank you, Bo. I am. I got a little bump on my head there. Well, it was swollen yesterday, but it's better today. It could have been a lot worse, but it wasn't, and we thank God for that. And I'm very grateful that it wasn't as bad as it could have been. Potentially it was, but it didn't happen that way, and I'm so grateful. You could lose an eye and then that's it. Even if you take someone to the police, you still lost your eye. But that didn't happen. I'm grateful for that. Alrighty, guys, let's get into it. I must tell you before I get into my dissertation. Did you guys hear about that rooster that attacked a child? Did you hear about this? This was in the news. A rooster. This is a chicken that has a notorious history of sort of aggravated behavior. It's a very sort of aggressive chicken. Well, this chicken sort of pecked, I think, a 2-year-old child, and the police have done the right thing. The chicken has been quarantined, and it's been placed in isolation because it has this history. My only question is, why is the chicken in isolation? And what are you going to say to it? Even if you place the chicken in solitary confinement and you ask the chicken, why did you do that? What do you expect it to say? I don't know. That's not even funny. That's not even a funny joke. Okay, I was just curious. The answer is to just eat it. That is the answer to that problem. The moment you just lop the head clean off, and what do you call it? What do you call it when you remove the feathers of a chicken? What do you call that? In my language, we say ukusesa. The word sesa, when I was a kid, meant Red Indians. La sesa. But ukusesa, when you pluck the feathers out of a chicken, what do you call that? In English, what is that? Tell me in the comments. Yeah, that's the only answer, is just to eat that chicken. End of story. Yeah. Alrighty, guys, let me preface my comment, my dissertation, my delivery, by saying I just read a story in the Daily Mail, and it was talking about traders, market traders that are placing stands and stalls. You know the word stall, S-T-A-L-L? That's a stall, a stand, okay? Don't confuse it with store, S-T-O-R-E. A store is a shop. A stall is a makeshift stand. Like you put a table on the street and you spread a blanket over it and then you start selling items. That's a stall, S-T-A-L-L. Well, people in Choma are placing their stalls, their stands, along the railway line. In Janji. In my language, we call that in Janji. Tell me what you call it in your language. Balebika, I'm a stand. Banjanji. They're placing their stands on top of the railway line. And the parliamentary committee over there in Choma have noted with great disdain that our people are doing this. Our Zambian people are not only are they placing themselves in harm's way, because that's what it is. They are being presumptuous. They're being overly confident that nothing would happen to them, because after all, they're God's children, and all they're trying to do is rub 2 coins together and feed their families. So in an effort to do that, they're placing themselves in harm's way right smack dab in the middle of a railway line, under the guise, under the banner, under the pavilion, under the presumption, Kuti, this is how we're going to provide for our families. Now, I guarantee you, if you have a Simon Mwewa Lane in Choma, who will go to the marketeers, the vendors, the traders, and they say, and he says to those traders, if you muletanti kamuno, I see my Uncle Nevis is watching. I love you, Uncle Nev. If you muletanti kamuno munjanji, you are placing yourself in harm's way. You're being presumptuous. You're being overly confident. I guarantee you that Simon Mwale in Choma, they will stone him. They will disdain him. They will reject him. They will say, what are you talking about? Chifumieni papa chimwewa. Turefo kulisha abana. Aleranda pa panjanji. Turefo kulisha abana. Aleranda pa stima. When I was a kid, we used to call trains steamer. You know, the steamer comes from the word steamer because of the steam that would come out of the locomotive, you know, the train. Tureranda, ifo turefo ayo kulisha abana kunganda. Ubunga takudi. Aleranda pali steamer. Nile so tusunga. Yo, mkwai turero mbati, if mwabika ama stands, mwabika utuntu embotu, munjanji, turero mba mkwai ati mwana, bala mipa ya, stima yala mishona, yala mipa, iwe mwewa iwe. Neo aishwe nshikushaba muntwani in my life. Do you know the number of days in my life for you to tell me that I'll be killed? Yeah? By putting a stand in the train. Nile so tusunga. Bonse tukafwa. All of us are going to die. So if you're that if you na stand munjanji, that is neither here nor there. Do you see the level of thinking of our people? That is what you have to contend with as a leader. That is the caliber of people you have to deal with. And those are the answers they give you. Now, if you are weak-minded, you will turn a blind eye and say, no, as my wakambati ati munjanji sivachokamo. But if you are sensible, you mobilize law enforcement, you mobilize local authority, you mobilize them, and you remove those people from that Njanji to safeguard their lives. That's what you do. Not in Zambia. Our sugar. In Zambia, what you know, na tulanda bona makana. But so we just have to accept that that's how it's done. That is the level of ignorance we have to deal with in this country. So, my admonition to Choma parliamentarians, committee, for those of you that are in leadership positions in Choma, remove those people from that Njanji. They are placing themselves in harm's way. Because when they are killed by a train, they will be the first ones appealing to Boma. Tipempa Boma, alakuno na watishona, na tushona uka. Na batwipa enjanji stima ya ifumine kudia ile tifie chu le Afrika mupepi ya isa tishona fie once twafwa. So apati pempa Boma turelomba ama bags ya bunga 25 pachidino, turelomba makanta ali 12 watu twale kuchidino pantu abantu besu na bashona ula munjanji amotwaleta antika. Oh, Zambia, my beloved country. Ngatwala kwinikwisa twala. Twakwata fie chalo chimu. That is the caliber of people that we have to deal with. I mean, we laugh. It's funny now, but the truth is, I can assure you, if and when that, and it's just a matter of time, that is a disaster in waiting. It will happen. It will happen. When it happens, that's just the way it will be. You know, that's the way it will be. A few comments. After I posted my post, I just wanted to highlight a comment here by what was his name, if I can find it here, because you know people really show their ignorance when they comment on Facebook. Oh yeah, he says this is a Swaz Mambo Hateba. He says after I posted that Choma, the people of the traders in Choma who are setting up stands and stalls on the railway line. This is Swaz says, there is no market in Choma, sir, and the people have been trading just there. Well, this story was derived from the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail is not in the habit of misinforming the public. You must understand that. You may disagree with the fact that it's a government-owned publication, but you can also disagree that they are not in the habit of misinforming the Zambian public, especially when it comes to matters of safety, health, and well-being. You'd be very foolish to think that this is a misleading story. It's not. This has been published in today's Daily Mail, and the issue is there. And you must understand that that level of ignorance has to be pushed back against, and sanity must reign. You know, it's a sad day when reason and stability is diminished. Chaos, lawlessness is amplified. You and I must rage against the dying of the light. Please say that in the comments. You and I, citizens of this nation, that love this nation, that love order, that love law-abiding citizens, that love parameter, that love circumference. You that love order, you and I must rage against the dying of the light. You know what that means? It means we must be full of righteous indignation when we see lawlessness prevail and law-abiding people diminish. We must rage against that, because that is the pathway to a lawless society. And how many people know that a lawless society is not what we want? Show of hands, tell me. How many people know that? So just type on that, type in the comments, we must rage against the dying of the light. Okay? That's what that means. All right. So guys, let's talk about this Simon Moyo Lane market. Now, let me give you a bit of history, because some of you that may not know this, it's very important to understand history. I was reading a comment earlier on. Someone says, no, I think Mwewa, the best is let us change the name. Let's change the name of Simon Moyo Market, remove it, and name it something else. Well, if you really must know, not too long ago, there was a councillor that actually suggested that. I won't name him, because when I called him to ask him